चंद्र की जय। श्रीमद् सद्गुरु सरकार की
जय।
श्री गुरवे नमः।
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 आचार्यं मां विजानीयान् नावमन्येत कर्हिचित् नमर्त्य बुद्ध्या सूयेत सर्वदेव मयो गुरुः। हे परम प्रियतम,
हे परम प्रियतम,
पूर्णतम पुरुषोत्तम श्री कृष्ण,
पूर्णतम पुरुषोत्तम श्री कृष्ण,
तुमसे विमुख होने के कारण,
तुमसे विमुख होने के कारण
अनादिकाल से हमने अनंतानंत दुख पाए
अनंतानंत दुख पाए
एवं पा रहे हैं। पाप करते करते
पाप करते करते
अंतःकरण इतना मलिन हो चुका है कि रसिकों द्वारा यह जानने पर भी कि तुम अपनी भुजाओं को पसारे अपनी वात्सल्यमयी दृष्टि से हमारी प्रतीक्षा कर रहे हो। तुम्हारी शरण में नहीं आ पाता। हे अशरण शरण, तुम्हारी कृपा के बिना तुम्हें कोई जान भी तो नहीं सकता। ऐसी स्थिति में हे अकारण करुण, पतित पावन श्री कृष्ण, तुम अपनी अहैतुकी कृपा से ही हमको अपना लो। हे करुणा सागर, हम भुक्ति मुक्ति आदि कुछ नहीं मांगते। हमें तो केवल तुम्हारे निष्काम प्रेम की ही एकमात्र चाह है। हे नाथ, अपने विरध की ओर देखकर इस अधम को निराश न करो। हे जीवन धन, अब बहुत हो चुका। अब तो तुम्हारे प्रेम के बिना यह जीवन मृत्यु से भी अधिक भयानक है। अतएव प्रेम भिक्षां देहि, प्रेम भिक्षां देहि, प्रेम भिक्षां बोलिए साकेत बिहारी श्री राघवेंद्र सरकार की जय। वृंदावन बिहारी श्री यादवेंद्र सरकार की जय। श्रीमद् सद्गुरु सरकार की जय। जय जय श्री राधे, जय जय श्री राधे, जय जय श्री राधे। Please stand for Jagat Guru Aarti and our daily prayers. If you're not familiar with the prayers, we have booklets that could be given out to you. Stand up, boys. Stand. जयति जगद गुरु गुरुवर की, गाओ मिली आरती रसिक वर की। गाओ गाओ मिली आरती रसिक वर की। गुरुपद नखमणि चंद्रिका प्रकाश, जाके उर बसे ताके मोहतम नाश। जाके माथ नाथ तब हाथ करे वास, ताते होए माया मोह सब ही निराश। पावे गति मति रति राधा हर की। गाओ मिली आरती रसिक वर की। गाओ गाओ मिली आरती रसिक वर की। अरे मन मूढ़ छाड़ नारी नर हाथ, गुरु बिनु ब्रह्म शाम न देंगे साथ। कोमल कृपालु बड़े कृपा सिंधु नाथ, आके इन्हें आज तू अनाथ हो सनाथ। इन्हीं के अधीन कृपा गिरिधर की। गाओ मिली आरती रसिक वर की। गाओ गाओ मिली आरती रसिक वर की। भक्ति योग रस अवतार अभिराम, करे निगमागम समन्वय ललाम। श्यामा श्याम नाम रूप लीला गुण धाम, बांट रहे प्रेम निष्काम बिनु दाम। हो रही सफल काया नारी नर की। गाओ मिली आरती रसिक वर की। गाओ गाओ मिली आरती रसिक वर की। लली लाल लीला का सलोना सुविलास, छाया दिव्य दृष्टि विच प्रेम का प्रकाश। वैसा ही विनोद वही मंजू मृदुहास, करें बस बर बस उच्च अट्टहास। झूमी चले चाल वही नटवर की। गाओ मिली आरती रसिक वर की। गाओ गाओ मिली आरती रसिक वर की। जयति जगद गुरु गुरुवर की। गाओ मिली आरती रसिक वर की। गाओ गाओ मिली आरती रसिक वर की। मतप्रेयान राधिका प्रेयान, मधवो राधिका धवः। तस्मादपि गरीयान्यो कृपालुर्मे जगद्गुरु गुरुं भजते श्री कृष्णः श्री कृष्णं भजते गुरु सिद्धान्ततस्त्व भेदेऽपि कृपालुर्मे गुरुर्महान् यस्य साक्षात् भगवती ज्ञानदीपप्रदे गुरौ मर्त्यासद्धीः श्रुतं तस्य सर्वं कुञ्जरशौचवत् एष वै भगवान् साक्षात् प्रधान पुरुषेश्वरः योगेश्वरैर्विमृग्यान् घ्रिर्लोकोऽयं मन्यते नरम् यमुना निकटतटस्थित वृंदावन कानने महारम्ये कल्पद्रुमतलभूमौ चरणं चरणो परिस्थाप्य तिष्ठन्तं घननीलं स्वतेजसा भासयन्तमिह विश्वं पीताम्बरपरिधानं चन्दनकर्पूरलिप्त सर्वाङ्गम् कर्णपूर्णनेत्रं कुण्डलयुगमण्डितश्रवणम् मन्दस्मितमुखकमलं सकौस्तुभोदार मणिहारं वलयाङ्गुलीयकाद्या नुज्ज्वलयन्तं स्वलङ्कारान् गलविलुलितवनमालं स्वतेजसा पास्तकलिकालं गुञ्जारवालिकलितं गुञ्जापुञ्जान्विते शिरसि भुञ्जानं सह गोपैः कुञ्जान्तर्वर्तिनं नमत मन्दारपुष्पवासित मन्दानिलसेवित परानन्दं मन्दाकिनीयुतपदं नमत महानन्ददं महापुरुषं सुरभीकृतदिग्वलयं सुरभिशतैरावृतः परितः सुरभीतिक्षपणमहा सुरभीमं यादवं नमत अशरण शरण महाप्रभो तुम स्वामी हम दास कीजय कृपा कृपालु मम दीजय गुरु सहवास तुम दीनन रखवार हम अहंकार अवतार अस करु कृपा कृपालु अब दीन बनूं सरकार। हो ऐसो हो पतित जो पतित न आप ही मान। ऐसे पतित विचित्र को पावन करूं तब जान। सभे भिखारी जगत के जेतिक नाते दार। दिव्य प्रेम आनंद के तुम एक साहूकार। धनी गुरुवर धाम निवास सुनो मन। पुण्यन पुंज सो पाइए जो बनी दीन प्रपन्न। रहो गुरु के नित सेवा सोताही रिझाइए जो। मन ते हरि को गुरु को सुमिरो। रसना सो सदा गुण गाइए जो। क्षण भंगुर जीवन जानी मना। क्षण हूँ जनी व्यर्थ गमाइए जो। सब धामन वारो वृंदावन पे और वृंदावन हूँ गुरु धाम पे वारो। जो गुरु के पद प्रीति जुड़ी तो भजो चली आवे को ब्रह्म विचारो। है हरि निर्मल भक्तन को गुरु है अधमों को उदाहरण हारो। औरन को गुरु हो या न हो गुरु मेरो कृपालु सौभाग्य हमारो। औरन को गुरु हो या न हो गुरु मेरो कृपालु सौभाग्य हमारो। श्रीमद् सद्गुरु सरकार की जय। श्रीमद् युगल सरकार की जय। श्री भक्ति धाम की जय। जय जय श्री राधे। जय जय श्री राधे। जय जय श्री राधे। Let's close our eyes and do Roop Dhyan and chant Hare Ram Mahamantra. You'll kindly repeat after me, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Rama, Ram Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Rama, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. गाइए, सब लोग गाइए।
Krishna
Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Ram Hare Rama Ram Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Rama Ram Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Rama Ram Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Rama Ram Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Rama Ram Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Rama राम राम हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा
हरे राम हरे राम 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 हरे हरे राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा
हरे राम हरे राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा
राम हरे राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे हरे
हरे राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे हरे
हरे राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे हरे
हरे राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे हरे
हरे राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे हरे
हरे राम 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 हरे रामा राम राम हरे हरे
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे
हरे रामा राम राम हरे हरे
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे
हरे राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे
हरे राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे
बोलिए वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय. This morning we are going to watch and listen to the divine words of Shri Maharaj Ji. We'll be watching about 25-minute long video of Shri Maharaj Ji speaking to us about something very important, and Shri Maharaj Ji will be speaking in Hindi. There are English subtitles.
कहते हैं तुम अपना सब कुछ हमको दे दो तो फिर हम कृपा करें, तुमको माला माल कर देंगे सदा के लिए। तो कृपालु कहता है कि तुम क्या मांगते हो हमसे? मेरा जो कुछ है, जिसको संसार में लोग धन कहते हैं, ये तो ये सृष्टि का सामान है और सृष्टि तो आपकी है। मेरे पास तो कुछ भी नहीं था जब मैं माँ के पेट में आया। ये शरीर भी तुमने दिया, फिर हम पैदा हुए तो हमने अपना कुछ एक आध कमरा बनवा लिया, फिर 1,00,000, 2,00,000, करोड़ 2 करोड़ जमा कर लिए, फिर हम मेरा है। इसी को मानते हो? महाराज आप क्या करेंगे इसको लेके? नंबर 1, ये तो आप ही का है। ये सारी पृथ्वी आपने बनाई है, उसमें से हमने 4-6 हजार गज जमीन ले लिया, अपने नाम लिखा लिया। वो है तो आपका। और यहाँ तक कि जो मैं है आत्मा, वो भी आपका अंश है, उस पर भी मेरा अधिकार नहीं है। क्षरात्माना विशदे देव एकहा, तुम ही उसका नियामन करते हो, शासन करते हो, अध्यक्ष हो। विद्या विद्ये ईशते यस्तु सोन्य, तो क्या मानते हो तुम हमसे? सब कुछ तो तुम्हारा अपने आप है। और अगर हम जबरदस्ती उसको अपना माने बैठे हैं तो जब मेरा एक टाइम समाप्त हो जाएगा, जिसको लोग मरना कहते हैं, तो हम यहीं छोड़ जाएंगे, अपने साथ नहीं ले जाएंगे। घबराओ मत कि इसने हमारी जमीन में मकान बना लिया, ये उठा के ले जाएगा। नहीं महाराज, मैंने सजा दिया आपकी जमीन को, ले नहीं जाऊंगा। भगवान ने कहा मुझे मालूम है, मैं तुम्हारी चालाकी समझता हूं, इसलिए मैंने ये नियम बनाया है कि मैंने तुमको शरीर दिया और इस संसार में आने के बाद तुमने जबरदस्ती मेरी जमीन पर कब्जा किया और धनी हो गए। शरीर पर भी तुमने अपना अधिकार जमा लिया, मेरा शरीर है। मन पर भी, बुद्धि पर भी, धन पर भी ये तुमने ज्यादती की। अपराध किया, सरकारी माल को तुमने अपना माल बना लिया, उसको वापस करो। मेरा संसार है, तुम्हारा नहीं। तुम एक सूक्ष्म जीव मां के पेट में गए और सूक्ष्म जीव संसार छोड़कर गए, जिसको मरना कहते हैं लोग। इस बीच में तुमने घपड़ सपड़ किया है और वो भी न्याय पूर्वक नहीं पैसा इकट्ठा किया। 10 रुपए के सामान को 20 रुपए में बेचा है। ये सब गड़बड़ी की है तुमने, इसका दंड भोगना पड़ेगा और वो सामान तो यही रहेगा। सामान तो यही रहेगा, सामान के कमाने में जो गड़बड़ी की है उसका दंड अलग भोगना पड़ेगा। जब कोई गैर कानूनी चीज पकड़ी जाती है तो हमारी गवर्नमेंट क्या करती है? चरस है, गांजा है, कोई चीज, तो सामान तो जब्त कर लेती है और सजा अलग से मिलती है कि तुमने गलत कानून के खिलाफ काम किया है। भगवान कहते हैं मेरा कानून तुमने सुना नहीं। यावत् प्रियेत जठरम तावत् स्वत्वं हि देहिनाम् अधिकं जो विमन्येत तस्तेनो दंडमर्हति। 7वें स्कंद के 14वें अध्याय का 8वां श्लोक। भगवान कहते हैं कि देखो, तुमको हमने संसार में भेजा है कि मेरी भक्ति करके मुझे प्राप्त करो, इसलिए मानव देह दिया। लेकिन तुमने क्या किया? मेरा कानून था कि तुम इस शरीर को चलाने के लिए मेरे संसार का उपयोग करना, चलाने के लिए। 2 रोटी खाना कंपलसरी है, खाओ। 2 कपड़ा पहनना कंपलसरी है, पहनो। 1 कमरे में रहना कंपलसरी है, रहो। इससे अधिक संपत्ति आ गई तो उस पर तुम्हारा अधिकार नहीं है, लेकिन तुमने माना अपना अधिकार। 1 लाख जमा हो गया, 1 करोड़ जमा हो गया। एक आदमी है, उसके 1 बीवी है, 1 बच्चा है और 10 करोड़ का मकान बनवाया। जाएगा इतना बड़ा मकान? क्यों कब्जा जमाया तूने उस संपत्ति पर जो मेरी थी, सरकारी सामान? तो सस्ते ना, जैसे दुनियावी गवर्नमेंट के कानून के अनुसार कोई इनकम को छुपाता है तो इनकम टैक्स वाले उस पर जुर्माना करते हैं। तो उसी प्रकार तुम चोर हो, स्पिरिचुअल गवर्नमेंट के चोर हो, उनको दंड मिलेगा मरने के बाद। और ये सामान तो यही रहेगा जो तुमने बैंक में जमा किया है या बीवी बेटा बेटी सबके लिए खर्च किया है, ये सब से यही रहेगा। भगवान कहते हैं देखो, मेरे सामान को तुमने अपना माना, एक गुनाह किया, इसलिए मैं कह रहा हूं ये सब मुझे वापस करो। मुझे नहीं चाहिए, क्योंकि ये सामान तो मटीरियल है। अरे शरीर भी माया, मन भी माया का बना हुआ, बुद्धि भी माया और धन भी माया। और भगवान के यहाँ तो सब दिव्य दिव्य सामान है। वो क्या करेंगे इस गोबर गणेश को लेके? आप लोग कहीं दावत में जाते हैं तो हलवा पूरी मालपुआ ये सब माल खाने जाते हैं ना, और वहां कोई गाय भैंस आदमी का पाखाना आपके सामने रख दे खाने को, आप तो नहीं खाएंगे उसको और कहेंगे इंसल्ट है ये। तो भगवान को हम संसार दे, ये कोई मुझसे काम की चीज नहीं है। लेकिन वो कहते हैं कि तुमने जो गुनाह किया है, मेरे सामान पर अपना अधिकार माना है, इसलिए मैं कह रहा हूं उसको वापस करो। तुम्हारा अधिकार बस उतने पर है जितने में तुम्हारा पेट भर जाए, शरीर का काम चल जाए, बस। मंदिर में जाके 10 पैसा दान करते हो, अब बेटी की शादी में 50 लाख 60 लाख वो तुम्हें 2 लोग भेजेगी? क्या है? सारा नाम होगा, नाम। बड़े बड़े खरबपति संसार में आए मर गए, कौन जानता है उनका नाम? और वो नाम से काम क्या बनेगा तुम्हारा? ये हम जो अपराध किए हैं अनेक प्रकार के, तो भगवान कहते हैं इसलिए मैंने नियम बनाया है कि मेरा सब कुछ मुझे दो। और एक बात और है कि तुम्हारा एक तो मन है, हाँ, वो मैं तुमसे मांगता हूं, और उस मन को तुमने संसार में दे रखा है। यानी मन का अटैचमेंट संसार में कर रखा है, तो और मन कहां से लाओगे जो मुझ में अटैचमेंट करो? यही तो मैंने। तो भगवान ने कहा देखो, यदिष्टतमं लोके यत्याचित् प्रियमात्मनः तत्तन्निवेदयेन् मह्यम्। जहां जहां तुम्हारा अटैचमेंट है वो सब मुझे दे दो, तब मन खाली होगा, तब मुझसे प्यार करेगा। सीता मसीह के पास एक बहुत बड़ा धनी गया और उसने कहा महाराज आप बड़े मस्त रहते हैं हमेशा, और है कुछ नहीं आपके पास, और हमारे पास इतनी दौलत है, हमको टेंशन रहता है, डर रहता है हर समय कोई मार न दे। उन्होंने कहा सब कुछ दान कर दो, मेरी तरह भिखारी हो जाओ, मस्त हो जाओगे। ये तो हम नहीं कर सकते, तो फिर हमारी वाली मस्ती भी नहीं पा सकते। ऐसे घुट घुट करके एक दिन मर जाओगे। और जो तुमने कमा रखा है ना, तो सब भगवान का यही रहेगा। भगवान बड़े चालाक है। उन्होंने कहा ये संसार वाले हमारा संसार उठा ले जाके, इसलिए इनका शरीर भी यही धरा लो। मैं शरीर में हीरे जवाहरात अंदर, कपड़े के अंदर ऑपरेशन करवा के भरवा के ले जाते थे। तो भगवान ने कहा ये शरीर मैंने दिया, यही रखो। और जो शरीर संबंधी लिखा पढ़ी किया है तुमने, हाँ अंगूठा लगा है जी, बैनामा है, पक्का, सब यही धरवा लेंगे हम। और दंड अलग मिलेगा। इस दंड से बचने के लिए जितने में तुम्हारा काम चल जाए, उस संपत्ति के अलावा सब दान करो, और दान भी सही पात्र में करो। 4 पात्र होते हैं, एक भगवान और महापुरुष, उसका फल भगवान का लोक, मोक्ष, दिव्यानंद। और एक सात्विक होता है दान, स्वर्ग के देवताओं के लिए, उसका फल स्वर्ग। एक होता है राजस दान, जो संसार में आसक्त है उनको दान दिया। और एक होता है तामस दान, जो पाप करते रहते हैं हर समय, अनाचार, दुराचार, भ्रष्टाचार, उनको दान किया हमने, तो हम भी नरक जाएंगे। यानी जिस पात्र में हम दान करेंगे वैसा ही फल मिलेगा। ऐसा नहीं है कि हमने 1 करोड़ दान किया है हमको वैकुंठ जरूर मिलेगा। कहाँ किया है, किस लिए किया है? एक पत्थर लगवाते हैं मंदिर में, ये बनिए लोग, तो कहते हैं हमारे बाप का भी नाम इसमें लिखवा दो। क्यों? सब 2 लोग चले जाए पत्थर में नाम लिखवाने से। अरे दान को अगर आउट कर दे तो दान का फल नहीं मिलता। एक स्वर्ग का राजा, उसने बहुत तंग किया ऋषियों को, तो ऋषियों ने कहा ऐसा करो, ये बेवकूफ है, इससे कहो कि तुमने कौन कौन सा पुण्य किया कि स्वर्ग मिला। सब कहलवा लो इससे। सब कहलवा लिया, वो गिरा नीचे, गधे की योनि में डाल दिया गया। और हम लोग एक पत्थर लगवाने के लिए हमारे बाप का भी नाम लिखो, हमारा भी लिखो, तो हम पत्थर लगवा दें 2000। ये हमारी बुद्धि है। इतना अहंकार है अपने पैसे का है, मेरा पैसा है। अरे गधे, न तेरा पैसा माँ के पेट में आने के पहले था और न मरने के बाद रहेगा। ये सब बीच का मामला है। तो हमको ये सोचना है कि भगवान जो कुछ मांग रहे हैं वो अपने सुख के लिए नहीं मांग रहे हैं, वो इसलिए मांग रहे हैं कि तुम्हारा अटैचमेंट हटे और मुझ में प्यार हो। अगर तुम्हारी चीज कोई संत ले लेता है, भगवान ले लेता है, तो ये उसके लाभ की चीज नहीं है, तुम्हारे लाभ के लिए ले लेता है, तुम्हारा परमार्थ बनाने के लिए ले लेता है। उसका अपना कोई स्वार्थ नहीं है, उसको तो स्पिरिचुअल हैप्पीनेस मिल रहा है। उसके आगे ये क्या है? उसका तो भगवान दास है, जो अनंत कोटि ब्रह्मांड नायक है। इसलिए हमको अपना सब कुछ भगवान को समर्पित कर देना चाहिए और प्रमुख रूप से मन बुद्धि का दान करना चाहिए। और वैसे 3 चीजें बताई गई हैं, तन मन धन। तन से सेवा करो, मन से चिंतन ध्यान करो और धन अपनी आवश्यकता से अधिक जो हो उसका दान करो। सही पात्र में तो कल्याण हो सकता है, अन्यथा आप जानते हैं वेद व्यास ने क्या कहा? वेद व्यास ने कहा है कि धनवंत मदातारम दरिद्रम क्या तपस्विनम। धन हो और दान न करे तो उसको पानी में डुबो दो, पत्थर बांध के पेट में। गृहे बद्ध्वा दृढ़ाम शिलाम। क्यों? अरे मरने के बाद तो बड़ा दंड मिलेगा। अदत्तदानात् क्या भवे दरिद्री और दरिद्र भावात् क्या करोति पापम पाप प्रभावान् नरकम प्रयाति पुनर्दरिद्र पुनरेव पापी। वेद व्यास कह रहे हैं दान न करने से क्या होता है? मरने के बाद वो दरिद्री घर में दरिद्र बनकर पैदा होता है। तो दरिद्र होने के कारण पेट की भूख को शांत करने के लिए पाप करता है। बड़े बड़े डाकू चोर जो हुए हैं कैसे हुए हैं, क्यों हुए हैं? एक का प्रमुख कारण है दरिद्रता। हाँ, ये तो माल चाल खा रहा है पड़ोसी और मुझे 2 रोटी सूखी नहीं मिल रही है, इसको लूटना चाहिए, इसको मार डालना चाहिए। और चोरी डकैती सब करने लगा और उसके करने से फिर मरने के बाद नरक मिला और उसके बाद फिर दरिद्री होके जन्म दिया भगवान ने। अरे करोड़ों कल वो यही दंड भोगता रहता है बेचारा। और गलती किया एक जन्म में, दान नहीं किया, बेटे को दे गया, नाती पोते को दे गया और अपने रिश्तेदारों के लिए सब कुछ किया, अपनी आत्मा के लिए नहीं किया, भगवान संबंधी कर्म नहीं किया। उसका इतना बड़ा दंड होता है। ये तो शास्त्र के वाक्य है, इनको मानना चाहिए और इसका पालन करना चाहिए। ये तो विनोद में कह रहा है भगवान से कि मेरा सब कुछ है, ले लो। अरे जबरदस्ती में नहीं लेता, तुम दे दो तो ले लूंगा, नहीं दोगे तो नहीं लूंगा, दंड दूंगा। अगर तुम दे दोगे तो ले लूंगा। पत्रम पुष्पम फलम सोयम, पत्ता दे दो हमको किसी पेड़ का, प्रेम से भाव से वो भी मैं खा लूंगा, जो कुछ दे दो, लेकिन भाव से दो तो, अहंकार से नहीं। देखो हम लोग किसी गरीब को दान करते हैं, कोई भिखमंगा आ जाता है, आ गया, पहले तो उठते हैं, आ गया। हम कार में बैठे हैं, वो कार के बाहर भीख मांग रहा है, हाथ नहीं है उसके, पैर नहीं है, चलो और अगर दिया तो सबसे छोटा सिक्का कौन है अपने पास? और वो भी ले, ले। हाँ, उसके अंदर भी वही भगवान बैठा है जो तुम्हारे अंदर है। ये तुम्हारा सामान जो है पैसा, ये उन्हीं भगवान का दिया हुआ है। ऐसे दान किया जाता है और वो भी लोगों को देख लेता है, सब देख रहे हैं ना कि हमने दान किया। छोटे छोटे दान स्कूलों में, धर्मशालाओं में अनाउंस होता है और नाम छपता है उनका, इन्होंने 2000 दिया, इन्होंने 4000 दिया, और वो बैठ के सुनता है। इसलिए भगवान कहते हैं दे दो, तुम्हारा कुछ न था न रहेगा।
श्री कृपालु जी महाराज की जय, श्रीमद सदगुरु सरकार की जय। लाइट्स प्लीज।
Radhe Radhe. We have a Gurukul presentation, so we are asking all adults to move on the other side of the runner, and all children can come in up in front. In the middle section, where Dipali is standing, children who are in Dipali Auntie's class, they will be there. Where Anup Uncle is standing, that is where the kids who are in his class will be there, and in the front, the teenagers on this side will be here. And if there are any children who are not part of Gurukul but are visiting us from outside, please come and sit in your age appropriate class, because in the end we will have a quiz competition between kids and the adults, and we want to make sure the kids win. Right? So. Okay. We will get started. Welcome to the end of Fall 22 semester of Gurukul. Today, we are going to be showcasing what we have learned over the semester. Next slide, please. With Shri Maharajji's inspiration and under Siddheshwari Didiji's guidance, this Gurukul program has been running for several years now, and the mission of Gurukul is to open young minds to spirituality and the richness of Hinduism, but in a very fun-filled and loving atmosphere. Hopefully we will get a chance to show this to you as we progress through today's presentation. Next slide. I wanted to talk just a little bit about what our classes are this year. The 4 to 7-year-olds are being taught by Dipali Patel, who's been doing an awesome job there. And their topic this year has been moral stories from scriptures. We do try very hard to make sure that every year we are talking about a different topic, so that as kids who stay within the program are there with us for 3 or 4 years, they don't have to repeat a particular topic, and are constantly learning new things, and are learning the same basics maybe in different fun-filled ways as well. Lessons from Bhagavatam, which is for 8 to 12-year-olds, is being taught by Anup Dhingra. And Essence of Vedic Knowledge, which is for 13 to 18-year-olds, is being taught by me. So we want to talk a little bit about our children in these classes. Next slide, please. So we have 18 children who are in moral stories from scriptures. We have 32 kids in lessons from the Bhagavatam, and we have 20 teenagers that are enrolled in Essence of Vedic Knowledge. We do offer other virtual options as well. We have a virtual Gurukul that is on Saturdays, especially for children who are not close to a center, because so then we do have an opportunity to serve them as well. We do also teach Hindi classes. We are running 3 levels of that. We have 38 kids that are signed up in that. And we are also running an adult Gurukul class. And there are 27 students that are signed up. In our Hindi classes, we have a good mixture of adults as well as children as well. There are several adults who are taking that class. So that brings us that we have an opportunity to serve almost 150 students, 146 to be precise, and then we are also going to be opening up another section in the spring semester because of some popular demand. Next slide, please. These are our 18 beautiful children from moral stories from scriptures. We have Ayush, Anish, Digant, Jia, Lehek, Mishka, Nabi, Pramatha, Radha, Sanvi, Savannah, Sejal, Siddharth, Shriya, Sham, Sophia, Vaishnavi, and Ziva. It is, I think Dipali will talk more, but it is an absolute pleasure to meet them every Sunday. The next slide, please. These are our children from lessons from Bhagavatam. If there is not a picture, it is because we didn't get one from you. It's not that, you know, we did not get one. That is why there are some empty spaces. We have Anya, Arna, Arya, 2 Aryas, Adi, Anay, 2 Anayas, Anmol, Astha, Ayushman, Dhruvil, Jayveer, Janvi, 2 Khushis, Meera, Naisha, Neha, Omar, Onkar, Pratham, Reena, Sana, Sanjana, Soham, Srirang, Sunny, Surya, Taisha, Vayu, and Vihan. So it is, again, absolutely wonderful to see you here every Sunday. Lessons, the next slide, please. We have 20 teenagers, and we have very few pictures here. But Adi, Abhi, Anvita, Aryan, Avani, Charmi, Dev, Jia, Krishna, Lakshmi, Niral, Ojas, Ronak, Saket, Sanya, Sharvari, Shreyan, Sia, Vibhor, and Vidhi. And these are our 20 children in EVK. Next slide. This is the adult Gurukul. I won't go through the names here, but we do have 27 people who are signed up for the adult Gurukul class as well. Next. So we always do want to recognize kids who have been showing up week after week. Attendance recognition is extremely important for us, and it is due to the commitment of the parents. I think if the parents didn't bring the children here, they would not be here. So it is, you know, it's a big, big thank you to the parents as well who have been showing up on time week after week and bringing their kids in. So as your name gets called in each section, please stand up because we would like to recognize you and give you your present. So from moral stories from scriptures, children who missed only 2 classes, right? Today is the 14th class, so we have had 13 classes already. So children who were here and missed only 2 classes, please stand. Jia, Mishka, Nabi, Pramatha, Siddharth, and Sham. And we'll hold the applause till the end. From lessons from the Bhagavatam, children who missed only 2 classes. Janvi, Naisha, Sana, Soham, Srirang, and Vihan. from the EVK class, kids who missed only 2 classes, Abhi, Anvita, Aryan, and Ojas. All right. Now moving on to kids who missed only 1 class, right? And so from the younger group, Digant missed only 1 class. From the Bhagavatam class, Arna and the Kushi, who is 8 years old, because we have 2 Kushis. They call themselves Kushi 8 and Kushi 12. So Kushi 8, and Meera, Pratham, Sanjana, and Surya. Awesome. Next slide, please. And now we have kids who with perfect attendance, who came for every class. From the younger group, we don't have anybody. From Bhagavatam class, we have 3. Astha, Ayushman, and Taisha. Awesome. And from the teenagers, we have Avani, Niral, and Shreyan. All right. So once again, thank you to all the parents, and thank you to all the kids who are so excited to come here, and thank you to all the parents who bring them here every week. So out of those classes that we have had 3 common classes. And when we celebrated 3 very important festivals, we had a common class for Dashera, we had a common class for Sharat Purnima, and then for Diwali. And Sharat Purnima was very special this year because it was the centenary celebrations of Shri Maharajji. What do we do in this common class? Most of the parents have attended this class as well, but the whole idea about this common class is to explain in detail as to why this particular festival is important to us, why it is celebrated, how the festival is celebrated in different regions of India, and how is it even celebrated in other faiths. So like when we were talking about Dashera is extremely important because the way it is celebrated in the north and the south, you know, Durga Puja is done in the east, is different, and yet it is very unique in each region. So the kids have a chance to see that. And I think in Diwali, we also had a chance to talk about how different faiths celebrate Diwali. Because it is an important day for the Jains, it is an important day for the Sikhs as well. So now we will go into a little bit about how, about the details of what we have done in each of these classes. Again, this is not going to take very long. We have about 5 minutes to 7 minutes for each class, and then we will get into the fun part. So I will invite Deepali to talk about what she's done with the younger kids.
Radhe Radhe everyone. As Dipti mentioned, I am Dipali, and I teach my 4 to 7-year-olds who are nicely sitting there and behaving. And as she mentioned, my topic for this year was moral stories from our Hindu scriptures. So when we started out our class, the word moral was pretty big. They're like, well, what is moral? So we dissected in our first class. I mean, we were going to talk about it the whole semester. So we really need to understand, you know, what is moral, and what does it mean, and why do we care? So I think for 30 minutes in our first class, we brainstormed and talked about some of the moral traits, and really, ultimately, why do we care? Why are we here? And that went really well. And then my kind of takeaway point for them was, it's what's in the inside that counts. Okay? Next slide, please. Oh dear. All right, so the PowerPoint didn't go well. I found this and I thought it was just really funny, but the biology teacher was supposed to be hidden. Thankfully, in our Gurukul class, we didn't talk about intestines and livers. We focused on the abstract parts of our inside, so ha ha ha. Does everybody get that? Anyway, we'll move on. Okay. Right, so then every class we focus on a moral trait, and we have a story from our scriptures to kind of highlight that trait, and then we kind of do a recap of, what does that moral mean, and how can we actually practice it, right? It's theoretical, but then we gotta go and practice what we do. And then we also have an activity to kind of tie it all together. And if time permits, and we run out of time all the time, we have about 2 to 5 minute video that we watch, and it's a cartoon video. Last time we did an adult one and I got eggs thrown at me. So this time we made sure there were only cartoon videos. I won't go through detail on every one of them that we covered, but our first one was kind of like focusing, setting a goal. It was, first part of the semester, so we have a whole semester to accomplish our goals. So we had, there's a picture of kind of the worksheet that we completed, and it was, every one of us had to think of a goal that we were gonna do for the semester, and even I got inspired, so I told myself, I'm gonna be more positive. So yesterday, I got called pretty, but then the full sentence was, you're pretty annoying. I'm trying to focus on the positive. Okay, so moving on. The next class was King Bali, and we talked about his generosity. And I think that was a really nice topic for our class because, we always think generosity is just like a couple of things, but there's a lot more things we can do to be generous, and especially for kids. They're like, well, I don't go work and I don't make money. How do I give? For that lesson, we had a really nice scavenger hunt. The kids took it home, and they were supposed to complete it with their family or friends or at school. Just some of the common things, how we can be generous, just teaching them on little things and being cognizant of how we can always be generous on our day-to-day things. So it might be hard to read, but like holding the door for someone or giving somebody a compliment or a hug or, washing some dishes for mommy. Okay, next slide. Right, so then we had topic about obedience, and gosh, that was an SAT word for them. So we're like, we know obey. And we've kind of, talked about, that the story was about obeying to your guru. But then we expanded and said, well, we have lots of gurus in our lives. And it got them thinking, wow, I have a piano teacher, I have a soccer teacher, I have lots of gurus in my life. And really, what does it mean to obey and surrender? And we hit the points about, respect and love and first-time listening. And so our activity was really recognizing all the gurus that they have in their life, but, most importantly, our spiritual guru. Then the next story was on strength of Mother Durga, and it was, all around Navratri, festive holidays, so we got to really tie that into our lesson plan, like, we celebrate Navratri, but what does that really mean? And it's about finding our inner strength through this story that we discussed. And we talked about strength. It wasn't about just having like big muscles. It was, about our talents and our skill sets. And then as part of our activity, we did a crossword puzzle. So you'll see that in our activities, we're trying to use 3 to 4 different ways to kind of retain the material and repeat, like through writing, reading, coloring, a lot of interactive questions in the class. Okay, next slide. Right, so the next 2 stories kind of go a little bit of, having faith, and faith is a very, very abstract concept, but we had a really wonderful story, a kid story of Prahlad, and it was really nice because, they couldn't believe the magic of, how his faith was so strong regardless of what happened to him and how his father tried to get rid of him in many ways. And so we did a crossword search puzzle there. The next lesson was on the biggest devotee, and it was Narad Muni, and he went around saying Narayan, Narayan, but then there was the story covered somebody, a farmer who only prayed during the morning and night, and most of us think, okay, that's, to be the biggest devotee, you have to do devotion all the time, or just morning, or so this was really nice because the kids enjoyed when Narad Muni was given a task to take a pot on his head around the world and just be very careful, and they forgot to say God's name. So they realized, wow, even when you're the biggest devotee, you're given something to concentrate on, you can forget. So we hit the point home that, we should remember God really when we're busy, when we're not busy, with your heart, with love, just as many ways that we can. And really for that activity, we had, they demanded Gurukul bingo, so we created Gurukul bingo, and it was all related to our classes. So we had top, words in there like faith, God, and whatever else we discussed in the previous classes, so we could talk about it more and more in many different ways. Okay, next slide. Right, so we have dedication and determination. Wow, a lot of hard work here. But these were really nice stories to kind of, get them to focus and dedicate on something that they really want to learn and want to do. And then we had a coloring activity because I've realized that we haven't done any coloring for the semester. So they really enjoyed that. And the bird story was actually very, very interesting because we had a little bird who was trying to empty the ocean. And we just all giggled and laughed, and we're like, that's an impossible task. And once we got through the story, we realized that determination is everything. When it's about giving your 100%. Always 100%. But of course, not when you're giving blood. So I had to make that. All right, thank you, Dipti Didi. The activity for that class was actually falling on the Thanksgiving week. So the next pictures, few pictures. Next slide, please. We did a craft, and it involved like our tree of thanks or gratitude, and we had little leaves, and we wrote on them everything that we're grateful for, from God and Guru to parents to life to water to food, anything. There was just so much creativity amongst our little souls here. And we left the classroom like it was hit by a tsunami, but it was so much fun. So yeah, if we can just go through a few slides, there's some pictures. We really enjoyed that class. There we go. Yep. We were pretty noisy. I don't have any videos. Okay. Next slide. Excellent. So our last lesson on, actually there's a couple more, serving parents. This was really interesting. This story was really nice. It was from the Ramayana. So we had to go down memory lane because we covered Ramayana 2 semesters ago, but we reintroduced the characters and they loved it. And we kind of highlighted Shravan Kumar and his service to his parents. So for our activity, we said, we're going to go home Monday through Friday and we're going to serve our parents. Let's just brainstorm, what can we do? And so these are some of the examples, but everybody had their own, ways of serving their parents. I like this one, don't eat sugar. I think that's serving parents really well. Making bed or, doing the dishes. So I told them, go, and then when you come back next week, make sure mommy and daddy has signed it, bring it back, and we'll talk about your experiences. Well, I had some who brought them, some who said who forgot, and some said, actually, I ate it because you told me it was a piece of cake. Thank you, Dipti Didi. Okay, next one. All right, so this was our last class that we had, and it was about pride and humility. And we talk about pride and humility a lot in our class, just because this word, I think, I think we can live and work on every single day of our lives, right? So I remember even the last 2 years we covered it a lot, but it's like this word that I go, pa, 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 and all my kids know pride, and I said, ha, 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 and humble. So we got it all worked out. And we shared story about Beam, and we also like kind of given a practical example, like how we can be prideful in our daily life, like, you know, in kids in school, and how do we overcome that by, you know, bringing gratitude in everything that we get. So then I was telling them, I was like, let me tell you, if there's something that I'm really, really good at than everyone else is being humble. Thank you. All right, so if we, actually that's the end of my slides. I just want to say that, you know, I feel super blessed to have these kids in my class. They're these cute little sponges that absorb everything, and we have so much fun together. So I can't wait for us to restart in January. Okay? Thank you.
Next slide. Radhe Radhe. My name is Anup Dhingra. And for children 8 through 12, we actually had a textbook, Lessons from Bhagavatam. So that's the textbook we were following. And from Bhagavatam, we had pulled out a couple of stories. And for the stories which were covered, there was always a lesson which went along. So for example, the story of Parikshit having 7 days to live, the key takeaway there was use your time wisely. Then moving along, the story of Jai Vijay, everybody is equal in God's abode. So here we try to emphasize first the concept of privilege. Jai and Vijay were in a privileged position. They were guarding Lord Vishnu's chambers in Vaikuntha. So what does it mean to be privileged? Based on the color of your skin, based on the family you're born in, based on the proximity to people with power. How does privilege affect you? So each of these lessons which were covered, momentary lapse in judgment, story of Ajamil, what you watch on your device or on social media for a moment can have a tremendous impact if you repeatedly think about that. Next slide. So typically the way the lesson was taught, here was, this should give you an idea. So first what we would do is we would watch a video in a contemporary context. So here the lesson is use your time wisely. So there is something which is done in many schools, which is called the last lecture. And what professors are told to do is think of their demise and what words of wisdom they would like to impart to the world. And then give a lecture, supposedly your last lecture of your lifetime, what would you say to the world? So there was a professor of computer science at Carnegie Mellon, Randy Pausch. At age 47, he was diagnosed with 4th stage pancreatic cancer, terminal, 6 months to live. So he was invited, hey, give a lecture. And the context there was using your time wisely, because for him, he knew 6-month clock ticking. So we start with that. We watch usually a TED Talk or some social experiment, or in this case, a last lecture of Randy Pausch for 5-7 minutes. Sets up the context, and then we do a brief discussion on the video. So what were the takeaways from watching this video? When we were doing about everybody is equal in God's abode, in Singapore, they had done an experiment, 10 strips of scotch tape on a piece of ground. A series of questions are being asked. People move forward, people move back. And once the series of questions is over, people are looking where they are standing in relation to each other. So you may not realize the color of your skin brings you privilege. You may not realize proximity to power gives you privilege. You may not realize family you are born in inherently gives you privilege. So in that social experiment, people could see because they were standing on different lines. So that's privilege for you. And then we would get into the lesson from Bhagavatam. So after the discussion, then we would get into the story. So here the story was simple. Parikshit is hunting, he's hungry, he's angry, looking for food, comes to Shamik's ashram, is not welcomed, puts a dead snake around his neck, trying to figure out, is he faking it or is he really in meditation? Sage's son gets upset, curses Parikshit to die within 7 days from a snake bite, and that's the lesson. So now what does Parikshit do? He uses those 7 days he has remaining very wisely. And that was Randy Pausch's lecture too. When you know you have limited time, you try to be very effective, very judicious with your usage of time. Then we would have classroom lessons learned from this story, as well as some open-ended discussions. So if you go to the next slide, I'll talk about what lessons we can draw from Parikshit's story. Number one, anger affects our ability to think rationally. Parikshit was hungry and angry, hangry as they say. He puts the dead snake, right? The sage's son got angry very quickly too, the way his father was insulted. Parikshit should die within 7 days. So anger really messes up our ability to think rationally. And later on, we also watched a video from a neuroscientist who says, what happens when cortisol is released in your bloodstream? You don't think rationally. Okay? Second, we can achieve anything once we set our mind to it. Parikshit knew he had 7 days to live. If he wants to work towards God realization, clock is ticking, 7 days. Okay? Number three, God creates situations which are best for us. Now here one may think, you know, these sages and they may go around placing curses on people, not very good. But what good came out of this story? Initially, Bhagavatam was restricted to between two people, Parikshit and his father Vedvyas, who composed it. Those were the only two knowers. The moment this curse got placed on Parikshit, a public lecture was given by Shukdev, narrating the Bhagavatam to the entire mankind. So out of this story, some good really came about, that the lesson from Bhagavatam got disseminated on a wide scale. So kids look at that too. So the knowledge wasn't restricted to just Shukdev and his father Vedvyas, but it was widely disseminated now. And finally, wise look for good qualities in everyone. Once Shamik finds out his son had placed the curse, he actually scolds his son. You were very hasty. King made one mistake. You have to look at the totality of his life. Everybody makes mistakes. You cannot give somebody such a severe sentence just for one mistake in their life. Next one. So this is where the discussion opens in the classroom. So these are open-ended questions. So we'll ask them, what are some things, wise do not react in anger. How does sage reflect this quality? What are some things you have done in anger that you regret? So kids will speak up, hitting their sibling or doing something, saying something mean to somebody, and hopefully having the ability to reflect that maybe in the heat of the moment they did something they're having second thoughts about. When you are angry, how do you calm yourself down? So some people would say they would count, somebody said they would chant the name of Ram or Krishna, just sit quietly, deep breathing. What are some goals that you have achieved through determined effort? Because Parikshit had 7 days. So kids would talk about, okay, I had to learn how to ride a bike. So they would discuss things they have achieved through determined effort. I believe this is the last slide.
Thank you. And I had the privilege of teaching the teenagers the essence of Vedic knowledge. This topic is, is difficult. And how do we make sure, first of all, grabbing and teenagers' attention is hard. Making sure they come here week after week is hard because they are so busy with so many things. And so we tried very creative ways in which we could learn our lessons. So if we go to the next slide, please. Our first topic was, we started off with watching a video, it is a 1 hour PBS NewsHour video. We watched only a little piece of it, which is how do we discover fact from fiction in the media, right? In this era of fake news, where everybody is throwing this as, if you don't like something, you can call it fake news. How do you discriminate and distinguish between fact and fiction? And that gave us a lot of food for thought, but then we wove it in as to who should we believe when it comes to our scriptural knowledge. And it led into our classification of the scriptures, how our Vedas organized, what is the summary of the Vedas called, and what is Itihas, what is Puran. Not everything that is being talked about in Hinduism on the internet, or what your friends or teachers might be telling you might be all correct. So it gave us the source of authority where we need to go and get that information. So that was one of our lessons. The second is about, again, a lecture from Randy Pausch. Randy Pausch, was a professor at about the same time I was a professor at Carnegie Mellon in computer science. So I always looked up to him, and he's done some awesome work. So the one thing that I think every teenager walked away with was this quadrant, right? We all know we are very deadline driven. We all will do stuff that is due tomorrow and that is important. And then we would go to doing things that are due tomorrow but may not be important. So how Randy Pausch really explained is that you should do the things that are important to you that are due right away, but then you also need to focus on things that are important but may not be due today. And what we do is kids get this. I think adults do this all the time. We postpone something as important as doing our sadhana to tomorrow because we have other things that we have to do today. And the kids will work on other activities today even when they know that they have this big project that is 70% of their grade, but it is due 3 days later. And they won't work on it till it is the night before, and then they run out of time. So having this quadrant and being able to really understand how to focus on what is important and what is not important and diligently triage is important in all our lives. But we also talked about concept of time, right? The minutest of time, shan, to how long have we been on earth? What is Brahma's lifetime, how we have been going from one Chaturyug to another. So just the whole concept of time and how scriptures define time, we had a chance to interweave that and learn about that. Next slide, please. We were talking about reincarnation, and we had another video where we were able to look at some documented cases, not only in India, pre-independence India, and in Turkey as well, and how researchers in the United States are documenting this and collecting this evidence on reincarnation. But it also gave us an opportunity to talk about what India looked like pre-independence, what were some of the pushes and pulls that were happening where this evidence was being documented, and how religious intolerance stems in, and how we all need to keep a very open mind and be respectful of all religions. So that was on reincarnation, and then we also talked about free will versus destiny. How do we build our own destiny? How doing the right thing today is so important to make sure that we have the tomorrow that we want. We can't control what we have already received, but we can control the tomorrow that we are going to get. And the last slide, please. is misconceptions about Hinduism. And I think that a very beautiful example that Shri Maharaji has also talked about, how Swami Vivekanand teaches Maharaj Mangal Singh who has been mocking Swami Vivekanand that Hindus are idol worshippers, right? They worship idols. And what Swami Vivekanand says is, take this picture of your grandfather that is hanging in your palace. He throws it on the floor and he says, stomp on it and spit on it. And the king says, I cannot do it. So he says, why? And he says, because that's my grandfather. He says, no, that's a piece of paper. It's not your grandfather. And that is when he gives a chance that, yes, Hindus believe God is everywhere. God is omniscient. God is omnipotent. God is everywhere. When we have a murti in front of us, it is because it is the representation of the divine, and it really helps us think about God. So if there is any negative connotations that children hear from others when they are in school, they should be armed and equipped with the right knowledge that they are proud of being a Hindu and proud of where they're coming from. So that is what our lesson, what we had done this year. Again, it is an absolute honor and privilege to serve these kids week after week. And now we are on to the fun portion, which is we have 15 questions, and Anup will be keeping score. We have 15 questions, and it is between children and the parents, right? So he will have the mic. Will you? Or somebody, yeah, so, yeah, he can. Yeah, so for the children, when the right age group, will come, consult amongst yourselves, get answer. For the adults who is able to get the attention of the runner, whatever answer is spoken on the mic will be considered the correct answer, or the answer that the team wanted. And the team that does not answer correctly, if the children don't answer correctly, parents have an ability to steal, and if parents don't answer correctly, the children can steal. Okay, with that, we will move on. And the sad part here is, I think we have lost animation. Have we lost the animation? Is there any way to run this? Because we don't want both the questions to come at the same time. Because otherwise it'll give an undue advantage that people will have longer time to think. So if there is any way to, run the PowerPoint, please, so that we don't lose the animation. Okay, perfect. Okay, so kids, this is from the younger ones.
Kids.
What did Lord Vishnu ask Narad Muni to carry on his head around the world? Pot of gold, pot of oil, pot of water, and pot of jewels. Give Deepali aunty the answer.
Pot of oil.
Pot of oil. Awesome. All right, the parents. This is for the parents. The next question, please. How did Shravan Kumar take his parents on the pilgrimage? In a golden chariot, on a horse, in a bullock cart, or in baskets that hung on his shoulders? So,
D. In the basket hang on his shoulder.
D, that is correct. Thank you. All right, next question, please. Question 1. The Sankadik brothers were stopped from seeing Lord Vishnu by Mother Lakshmi, Lord Brahma, Jay and Vijay, or none of the above?
C. Jay and Vijay.
Awesome. For the parents, during their time away from Vaikunt, the minds of Jay and Vijay would remain united with the Lord through jealousy, love, hatred, or sweet memories. So think and answer.
Hatred.
Awesome. Yes. They took they were born as demons who, okay, yeah, they were born as demons, that's it. Okay. Okay, for the older kids. Krit Granth are composition from the Vedas, composition by saints, composition from the Gita, compositions by the worldly people. Krit Granth. D, correct, yes. For the parents, the summary section of each Ved is called Samhita, Brahman, Aranyak, or Upanishad. This is for the parents, no, not the kids. The summary section of each Ved is called. Any non-Gurukul adult, any non-Gurukul adult. Otherwise, you can give it to the kids to steal. Yes, it is correct. It is the Upanishad. All right. We are tied. It looks like we are tied. Okay, on to question number 2. Children, get ready. The Titahari bird was angry at the ocean as it took away her eggs. She decided to teach the ocean a lesson. What did she vow to do to the ocean? Empty it, pollute it, live in it, not return to it again.
No, let's look at the answers.
Empty it.
Empty it. Awesome. Very good.
Empty it.
All right, for the parents. Sage Drona was not allowed to teach archery to Eklavya. How did Eklavya learn archery? He made a murti of Sage Drona and started his practice. He found a guru other than Sage Dronacharya. As he decided not to learn it, gave up, or he learned it from a good friend. A, right answer, yes. All right.
I thought I had to be fair.
Okay. Upon hearing the news of his impending death, Parikshit decided to enjoy the remaining days of his life, ordered all snakes to be killed, gave up the family and started to meditate on God, and called a meeting of his ministers.
C.
C. Awesome. Very good. All right. When Sage Shamik found out about the curse his son had placed on Parikshit, he was happy with his son. He placed an additional curse on the king. He scolded his son, or none of the above. For the parents. See, somebody was listening. Yes, awesome. All right, EVK kids. One kalp is 28 manvantars, 21 manvantars, 14 manvantars, or 108 manvantars?
14.
14, awesome, very good. One manvantar is 17 chaturyug, 14 chaturyug, 3 chaturyugs, or 71 chaturyugs? Very good, awesome. All right, question number 3, we're still tied. All right. So what was the name of the little child whose father tried to kill him many times because he was telling others to do bhakti? Eklavya, Prahlad, Arjun, or Aruni? B? You are absolutely right. It is B, Prahlad. Very good. Parents, what was the name of the demon that goddess Durga defeated in a battle that lasted 9 days? What is the day called? Maheshwar Dashera, Mahishasur, Vijayadashmi, Trinavrat, Vijayadashmi, Vritrasur, and Vasant Navratri.
Okay, now I know. Now you're scaring me. It's B. Yes.
Okay, you're right. B. Mahishasur and Vijayadashmi. All right. Bhagavatam kids, are you ready? Unable to overcome the alligator's pull, Gajraj decided to let his family members rescue him, called out to the Lord, prayed to Ganesh. None of the above.
B. B.
E, very good. Yes, awesome. For the parents, to escape from Dushasan, Draupadi relied on help from elders, help from her husband, her own strength, all of the above. Can't hear?
All of the above.
All of the above. Awesome. Yes, that's right. All right, EVK. For the kids, there are blank main religions in the world, 11, 5, 14, or 8.
11.
11, awesome, very good. As a bonus round, you may have to tell what they are.
I know.
Okay, for the parents, Hindus worship how blank number of gods? 330 million, 5, 1, infinite. C, very good. All right, question number 4, we are still tied. So we have to make sure, kids. All right, which king gave up land that covered the entire universe with just 3 steps? King Janak,
Bali.
King Indra, King Pandu, King Bali.
King Bali.
King Bali, yes, awesome.
King Bali.
All right. Parents, who was blocking Bhim's path when he was out trying to pick some flowers? He disguised himself to create a situation to help Bhim. It is for the parents. Why are the kids answering? Kids, are you taking pity on your parents? Don't help them. What was the final answer from the parents? All right, Hanuman. Okay, Bhagavatam kids. God transmitted his knowledge to Dhruv by embracing him, touching his cheek with his conch, looking him in the eyes, placing his feet. Yes, awesome. All right. Okay, parents, so make sure kids don't help them. Dhruv was blessed by the Lord to ascend to the seat of Brahma in his next life, rule for 36,000 years, become the ruler of Swarglok, and all of the above.
I think it's B. Rule for 36,000 years.
Rule for 36,000 years? Is that the final answer? Yes, it is correct. Yes. All right. Hinduism supports a discriminatory caste system. True or false?
False.
False. Yes. For the parents, spiritual knowledge is determined by one's effort and sincerity, not by birth. True. Awesome. Very good. All right, last question. We are still tied. So last question. Who came to the rescue to help the bird, Titahari? He enlarged himself and churned the ocean to get the eggs back. Sheshna, Garud, Aruni, or Jatayu?
B.
B, Garud, yes. All right, parents. As a last resort, how did Aruni try to protect the mud walls in the rice fields during a massive rainfall? He got his friends and they set up a brick wall. He lied down all night. He went back to the guru and he said he couldn't help protect it. Parents. What is the?
Somebody said A. I heard A. It's B.
No, B is the right answer. Yes, thank you. All right. Jay and Vijay's second birth as enemies of the Lord was Hiranyaksh and Hiranyakashipu, Ravan and Kumbhakaran, Kans and Shishupal, or Madhu and Ketab. B. Ravan and Kumbhakaran. Okay, that's why you were telling me don't give the answers early. Yes, okay. For parents, Jay and Vijay's third birth as the enemies of the Lord was the same. Ravan Kumbhakaran, Kans Shishupal, Shishupal and Dantavakra, Kans and Jarasandh. Who wants to give the answer? Raise your hand. Raise your hand if you want the answer.
There are 2 D's there, so I'm just making sure.
Oh, yes, it is A, B, sorry, yes, it is A, it should be A, B, C, D. Huh?
Kans and Shushup. No? Shishupal and Dantavakra, okay.
Yeah, it's Shishupal and Dantavakra. Yes, correct. All right. For children, the actions yet to bear fruit are blank in number. 1,000,000, 200,000, infinite, or 0. C, infinite. Yes, thank you. And for the parents, only humans are given the ability to perform blank karm, sanchit, kriyaman, prarabdh, or inhumane. Yes, correct. So we end this quiz competition with a tie. Awesome.
Didi, are you saying they don't need to go to Gurukul anymore? I mean,
No, the kids need to come. But I am so happy that the kids have been going home and teaching their parents what they have been learning, because that is the only way the parents could be that smart. So that is, keep bringing your kids every day, every Sunday, and keep asking them what did they learn in Gurukul. That is how we want it. So we have a bonus question for the kids who are going to tell all the 11 major religions of the world. All right.
Number 1, Hinduism. Number 2, Christianity. Number 3, Islam. Number 4, Judaism. Number 4, Shintoism. Number 5, Taoism. Number 6, Confucianism. Number 7, Buddhism. Number Zoroastrianism, Jainism, Sikhism. Is that 10?
That's 11.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Right. Okay, so just a few more minutes. Looking ahead, if we could just keep scrolling, please. We are going to be off for the next 2 weeks. The classes will resume on January 8th. So please enjoy your Christmas break, winter break, Happy New Year, and hopefully we will be continuing to see you for the next 2 weeks here, because we have this wonderful retreat that is still going on. So don't change your schedule, just keep coming and come for longer duration if you can here. The new section of Hindi Level 1 opens up on January 8th. We will be starting a new section. Here is the flyer. If you or your children are already in that class, please don't hesitate to recommend us to your friends and family. This is our calendar where you will see which are the dates when we are having our classes. So please bookmark this page. This will be updated with the new spring schedule. With that, we will go on to the next thing. We have 2 testimonials. So we will first hear from, are we first hearing from Neil and then from Reet? So they're just talking about our Hindi classes. I do want to plug in and say that if you could send us a 30-second to a minute video testimonial of how you think the Gurukul classes are going and how any other class that is happening this to send to other parents who might be interested and use it for advertising. Thank you very much. Kids every Sunday. And with that, over to you.
Thank you. I'm not able to clap because most of you know my right hand. I had fractured my wrist. So no matter how hard I try, I cannot clap. But you can, loudly. Thank you. I want to thank the dedicated teachers, Deepali Patel, Anup Dhingra, Deepti Dhingra. And you can see from, even if you have not been following the lessons throughout, throughout the semester, you can see from just today how much effort has been put into teaching our kids in an age-appropriate way. And I believe what I have seen is that they treat every child as if he or she were their own. And I'm really grateful for that. I'm sure all the kids and parents are very grateful for that. So I have to say, please give them, the teachers, a big, big hand. Our Gurukul is completely, it aligns with Shri Maharajji's, Jagat Guru Shri Kripaluji Maharajji's philosophy, and that is to teach every child about morals, teach every child about moral ethics, spirituality. And Shri Maharajji's philosophy, it is so simply put that every child can follow it, not just adults, but children. When they hear it, they understand it. And the Gurukul teachers have taken the philosophy and they have made it so applicable to children, and also by using, as you saw, using contemporary events and such to explain the philosophy, which is very important right from the beginning, because what they are learning at this age, they're going to retain for a whole lifetime. So this is such an exciting age. Kids, I hope that you keep on being excited about Gurukul classes. And I know a lot of the kids are not here today. I hope that, that all of you will be returning in January. And I want to say to the parents that it's so important to bring your children on Sundays and to let them be part of this, allow them to learn so much. I remember there was a gentleman who told his friend, you know, I take my kids to Gurukul, you should also. And the answer that was given surprised me a lot. The answer was, I don't want my kid to become a saint. And that's not what happens in Gurukul. What it teaches, what we are trying to teach, what these teachers are trying to teach is how to be good human beings, how to bring God into life, how to live a life of balance where you're taking care of your body and yourself, self meaning the soul. So we're not teaching kids to renounce home and family and to become saints. And anyhow, a saint doesn't mean that a saint is not necessarily one who has left home. There are a lot of misconceptions. So we're trying to teach children more about Hinduism, what true Hinduism is. As I think Deepti was saying, you know, you have to look at what you are being taught about Hinduism in the classroom. And I think you know that a lot of times that information is not correct. It is fake information. And so it's important to learn what real Hinduism is. As Shri Maharaj Ji has taught us, this is what real Hinduism is. And so the kids are learning at this age, and not just about religion, not only about Hinduism, but about spirituality, how we should respect every religion, and how we can become better people by following our religion and respecting all others. So I'm truly blown away by this presentation. I think it was better than last year's. I mean, there's so much improvement. I'm not saying last year was bad. I'm just saying that I'm amazed at the level of this and how the kids are learning. It's really wonderful. So parents, please keep on bringing your children. The teachers, I don't have to tell them, they're just so driven to do seva, and they're all devotees, disciples of Jagat Guru Shri Kripaluji Maharaj, trying to fulfill his mission of teaching. And so all the kids, how many of you are, if you're not coming back, can you raise your hand? So no raised hand. I suppose you're all coming back, right? All right, good. Thank you, everyone. It is time to offer Bhog. Sharbari, could you do it without the book, please? Thank you. You'll do it. And start.
Rasiya राजभोग महा सोरस नहीं पायो रसिया सोरस नहीं पायो रसिया सोरस नहीं पायो रसिया आओ भोग लगाओ रसिया श्याम आओ भोग लगाओ रसिया भावहीन हो हाँ मानत हो भावहीन हो पैसुनु खरे करी रसिया पैसुनु खरे करी रसिया पैसुनु खरी करी रसिया कट कृपालु भय प्रियो भूत नहीं याते अब आ जाओ रे रसिया याते अब आ जाओ रसिया याते अब आ जाओ रसिया श्याम आओ भोग लगाओ रसिया रसिया हो रसिया मेरे मन बसिया 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 भोग लगाओ रसिया श्याम आओ भोग लगाओ रसिया अपना रसिया अपना और तरसाओ रसिया आओ भोग लगाओ रसिया श्याम आओ भोग लगाओ रसिया बोलो श्याम रसिया की जय
Radhe Radhe. Yugal Kunj welcomes everyone here today. Starting tomorrow, we'll be in our 5th week of the retreat. Now that all the kids are out for Christmas break, this is the perfect time to bring them and your entire family for the retreat. Just like Dipti Didi said, kids will be off for 2 weeks from here, but do not stop coming, as the sessions in our retreat encompass kids, adults, and seniors. Hence, the whole family is catered for. We have some of the pictures from our week 4 of the retreat. You can see it up on the screen. This was actually week 3rd. We all went on outing with Didi Ji. It was at Lake Lanier. This was the exercise class that we have in the morning in the retreat. There are lots of different sessions that we have throughout the day. This was a devotional picnic yesterday, right at the Radha Kunj, which is a little small house in the front. Here we can see we had a good time with Didiji. We did Kirtan. We did some devotional games. Even though it was pretty cold out yesterday, but we had a fire going. We had some games with Kirtans. Overall, it's a great experience. These are some of the games that Didis in Manghar play, so we have done that here. There are lots of different things that we do throughout the day during this retreat. We have Didiji's lecture every evening from 6:45 to 7:45 p.m., with the exception of Sunday evening, where we have highly informative Q&A session instead. As you can see all those pictures, it was amazing time, it was fun. So let us therefore take this opportunity to bring your entire family to experience this divinity that's being offered at Yugal Kunj through this retreat. Now I would like to have Dipali Patel to come up here on the podium. We have some additional information.
Thank you, Nishta. So guys, I promise no more bad jokes. So, all right. Actually, on a more practical note, I wanted us to reflect for a few minutes about the lecture we heard from Maharajji today. As you may all know, Yugal Kunj has been serving our community for over the last 6 years since it's opened. And we are fully run by volunteers who are tirelessly and generously devoting their time so that all these socio-religious activities can happen. As you saw an example today, Gurukul, but we have Seva teams, for our caterings, our events, our youth development. A lot goes on here. However, just as all this volunteer time is important, so is the financial support that we need and that we get. As you may know, Yugal Kunj is a nonprofit organization, and we entirely are funded by donations from you, from our satsangis, also from those who are inspired to be in this hall every Sunday. So as 2022 is coming to an end, and we're doing our introspection, albeit whether it's mental, physical, or spiritual, it's a really great time for us all to review and look at the level and the effectiveness of our contributions. With that said, I hope you're inspired today by the greatest words of our Gurudev. Myself and our treasurer and a lot of our volunteers will be outside here today in the lobby right after Aartis, and we'll be happy to assist you with any questions that you may have, assist with donations, and give you receipts accordingly. In the lobby, more on a more festive note, in our lobby you'll also find our gift shop. So I know that during this holiday festive season, we're all looking for the best present for all our dear ones. So we'll be here all day if I go through everything that's in our gift store. But I wanted to highlight a few, and I'm a little biased because these are my favorites, but you might find that they're your favorites too. Okay, so I'm gonna actually start with the books. And I might have obsessed over them a little bit last year or the year before, but they just age well. So we have 3 books that are hardcover. They're called the Ramayana, there's Lessons from Bhagavatam, and The Essence of Vedic Knowledge. They're the best of the best. They're very simple, there's very easy to understand materials for kids and adults. And there's just amazing glossy pictures in theirs, and there's like testing materials. Honestly, there's just like an ocean of knowledge that's filled in here. So I want you to be inspired to give this to someone you know, or even if you don't have a copy for yourself, get one. And I will be there to personally gift wrap your presents if you'd like. So there's 3 of them, and they were written by our Didi and our 2 Gurukul teachers, Anubhaya and Didi that you heard from earlier. So they're really wonderful. Then I also want to highlight Prem Siddhant. It's a book just full of just amazing philosophy. It's really just highlighting and hitting home the points about, you know, what do we all want and how do we get it? It's just amazing. I can't even describe in words, but I dare you to grab one of these today. And then we have these colorful, very, very colorful, soft and light Radhe Shamis. There's lots of colors there in our gift shop, so they make really great gifts if you want to check those out. And lastly, I think maybe this is my most favorite. I don't know, I can't decide. But these are like Krishna bobbleheads. I have 3 of them because me and my 2 children couldn't share. And I think in this case, it's okay not to share. So they're really cute. You can put them in your car and it bobbles, and you know, you can do Rup Dhyan. Well, focus on driving, but you can have those and place them around your house, wherever you need it. But they're really great for kids. My kids love them. And I don't think I've seen something like it ever before, so it's pretty unique. Okay, so that was really it. I will be out there in the lobby, and I can help you choose your gifts. Thank you so much, Radhe Radhe.
Please stand for the Aarti. Could I ask you all on this side to move closer, please? On both sides, really.
आरती प्रीतम प्यारे के बनवारे नथवारे के आरती प्रीतम प्यारे के बनवारे नथवारे के दोहन सिर कनक मुकुट जल के दोहन श्रुति कुंडल बल हल के दोहन दृग प्रेम सुधा चल के जसीले बैन रसीले नैन गसीले सैन दोहन में मन मन हारे के बनवारे नथवारे के आरती प्रीतम प्यारे के बनवारे नथवारे के दोहन दृग चितवनि परवारे दोहन लट लट कनि छवि न्यारी दोहन भौमट कनि अति प्यारी रसन मुख पान हसन मुस्कान दशन दमकान दुहन बेसर छवि न्यारी के बनवारी नथवारी की आरती प्रीतम प्यारी के बनवारी नथवारी के एक उर पीतांबर पहरे एक उर नीलांबर लहरे दोहन उर लल मोतिन छहरे कांकनन कनक किंकिनी जनक नूपुरन भनक दोहन रुन झुन धुनि प्यारी के बनवारी नथवारी की आरती प्रीतम प्यारी के बनवारी नथवारी की एक सिर बनवारी के। श्री राम श्री रामचंद्र कृपालु भजु मन हरण भव भय दारुणम्। नव कंज लोचन कंज मुख कर कंज पद कंजारुणम्। श्री राम कंदर्प अगणित अमित छवि नव नील नीरद सुंदरम्। पटपीत मानहु परित रुचि शुचि नौमि जनक सुतावरम्। पटपीत मानहु परित रुचि शुचि नौमि जनक सुतावरम्। श्री राम दीनबन्धु दिनेश दानव दैत्य वंशनिकन्दनम्। रघुनन्द आनन्द कन्द कौशल चन्द दशरथ नन्दनम्। रघुनन्द आनन्द कन्द कौशल चन्द दशरथ नन्दनम्। श्री राम सिर मुकुट कुण्डल तिलक चारु उदार अंग विभूषणम्। आजान भुज शर चाप धर संग्राम जित खर दूषणम्। आजान भुज शर चाप धर संग्राम जित खर दूषणम्। श्री राम इति वदति तुलसीदास शङ्कर शेष मुनि मनरञ्जनम्। मम हृदय कञ्ज निवास कुरु कामादिकर दल गञ्जनम्। मम हृदय कञ्ज निवास कुरु कामादिकर दल गञ्जनम्। श्री राम श्रीरामचन्द्र कृपालु भजु मन हरण भव भय दारुणम्। नव कंज लोचन कंज मुख कर कंज पद कंजारुणम्। श्री राम
बोलिए लाडली लाल की जय। सियावर रामचंद्र की जय। पवन सुत हनुमान की जय। जगत गुरु श्री कृपालु जी महाराज की जय। श्री भक्ति धाम की जय। श्री युगल कुंज की जय। जय जय श्री राधे जय जय